Hi, my name is Eric Mijakowski. I'm one of the designers here at Alerta, and I'd like to give you a walkthrough today of the setup procedure of the inPulse smartwatch for Blackberry. The first step after receiving your inPulse smartwatch is to charge it up. While it's charging, you can turn on your Blackberry and download the latest inPulse BB application from our website. I've got a charged watch here, and I can see that it displays the pairing code on it. As soon as your watch charges up, you can pair it with your Blackberry by going into the Bluetooth connections menu and adding a new device. There are quite a few watches in this room. As soon as it comes up, you can enter the pairing code. And your inPulse is paired with your Blackberry. It's important to start the inPulse BB application because the connection is only made after you start the application. So, first step is to send a test message and make sure that the device is ready to update. It will say ready to update firmware on that. As soon as you see the watch say ready to update firmware, you can go into the firmware menu of the inPulse BB application and press load firmware on watch. You'll see a loading bar come up on the watch screen as the firmware loads. It takes a few minutes to send the firmware to your watch, so I've got a watch here that already has the firmware loaded. After the firmware loads, you can send a few test messages from the Blackberry application just to make sure everything worked out. After that, you can start playing and experimenting with your watch. So one of the things people like to do is change the font and the color of the clock font on the watch. For that, you go into the Preferences menu and click Watch. From there, you can select from the drop-down and choose maybe a larger font like Kenyan Coffee. Press back to have the settings sent to your watch, and there the new clock font appears. You can even experiment with some of the weirder ones that we put on there, like the Bullpen 3D font. Again, pressing back to send the settings. Inside the Preferences menu, you could also experiment with changing the font and the color of all the fonts on the watch itself. In terms of notifications, we offer the ability to filter based on email address. So if you have several email inboxes set up on your Blackberry, you can choose which messages will get sent to your watch. So for example, I have my eric@alerta.ca email account here, which is set to only vibrate once. You can also have it vibrate twice for every new email message, pressing back to save the settings. You can do the same for notifications like SMS and caller ID. One other interesting thing that inPulse does is it will allow you to see your calendar at a glance. So in order to access your calendar, you simply click and hold on the clock screen to access the message buffet and scroll by clicking to access the calendar. And there you can see the calendar alerts that I've set up for today. Hope this has been an interesting, quick setup of the inPulse, and I hope that it worked out well for you. Thanks.